It's time for our daily business chat with Richard Southern. And Richard, restaurants, gyms, and theaters will be allowed to reopen today, but some tough operating restrictions still remain in place.
Absolutely. Hey, Erica, happy Monday. Yeah, a big Monday here with the restrictions beginning to ease in Ontario. And no doubt business owners are happy. They're saying, hey, we hope we're not going to have to go through this again. But, the fact is, yeah, bills are piling up. Many businesses are still struggling. In fact, it's believed the average business has taken on $170,000 in new debt just to weather the pandemic storm. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says it estimates that 1 in 6 small businesses in Ontario will ultimately not survive the pandemic. And so there are people now calling for even more government financial support to help out these businesses, like Green Party leader Mike Schreiner.
Another round of funding for February, given that many sectors will still be operating at below 100% capacity. Increasing the amount of available funds and expanding the staycation tax credit to include indoor dining at restaurants. And adding additional sector-specific support for businesses that have been hardest hit.
Now, the Ford government has brought on another round of business grants that will pay up to $10,000 to affected businesses. Those checks not scheduled to arrive until next month. No word on if the government, Eric, is going to plan anything beyond the second round of grants. But as Cynthia was talking about, this new language out of the Premier indicating we might not have any more lockdowns going forward, with the Premier saying basically, quote, we got to live with this thing. We got to get back to normal. Probably music to the ears of many business owners, no doubt.
All right, and Richard, we've reported on this a lot, people fleeing the big city during the pandemic, and that trend appears to be continuing.
Yeah, it's something, if you look at the house prices now outside of Toronto proper, Erica, they are getting really expensive. This is where people want to live now, the outside regions. And they're paying top dollar to do so. I mean, take a look at Ajax, for example, where the average selling price is up like 30% over the past year to above $1 million. Big uptick in prices in Whitby. Pickering seeing prices appreciate a whopping 15%. Clarington, Scugog, and Oshawa also hot. Look at Oshawa, $913,000 here. The average selling price for a house. This is a trend we saw take hold in the early days of the pandemic, and it's one that's not letting up. A lot of people still working remotely, don't necessarily need to do that commute into downtown Toronto anymore, Erica. It's resulting in Toronto seeing a shrinking population, with Toronto lost the most people it has in decades in 2020. That trend looks to continue.
Well, okay, and finally, consolidation appears to be the new name of the game in the video gaming industry, Richard.
Two interesting game stories here for you tonight, Erica. First off, big one, Sony, the maker of the PlayStation video game console. It's shelling out big money to buy a video game maker by the name of Bungie, and they're paying $3.6 billion. This is the company behind Halo, a very popular video game, Destiny as well. Bungie, the name of the company is, Bungie, behind Halo and behind Destiny. And it's doing this, Sony, after Microsoft just the other week announced it was paying $68 billion for video game maker Activision Blizzard. So we're seeing a consolidation going on here in the video game world, and that's because these games are big money. People pay top dollar for them, and Sony and Microsoft, they want to make sure they have the games that people want. So Sony buying Bungie for $3.6 billion. The other big story we're watching, you know that Wordle that everyone's posting about their Wordles, Erica? The New York Times, just within the last hour or two, has announced it is buying Wordle. New York Times buying it for the low seven figures. Didn't give the exact amount. The Times said the game would initially remain free for new and existing users. They're getting in on that trend, the New York Times, Erica, Wordle.
Yeah, and I still haven't jumped on that one. All right, thanks, Richard. That's business editor Richard Southern.
Thank you.